Today on the AI Daily Brief, AI is officially political. Welcome back to the AI Daily Brief. When it comes to what I cover on this show, I have a strong preference, as you guys well know at this point, to changes and updates that are directly and immediately relevant to you and your lives and your work. And yet, of course, all of those changes are happening in a larger societal context that we can't ignore. And right now we are in a particularly notable moment in the history of the politics of AI, which I would describe as something like, if AI has flirted with politics so far, it is now through this phase becoming much more discreetly and distinctly a political issue. The Verge goes even farther, writing in a recent piece that AI is now part of the culture wars. And with a recent memo from Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei, the culture warness of this conversation is likely to get worse, not better. I'm sure at this point you've been keeping up to speed with the Anthropic Pentagon bun fight, but the quick TLDR is that Anthropic had a couple of red lines around domestic surveillance and autonomous weapons that they refused to change in their contract, which really ticked off Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, which led to all sorts of threats of the US government designating Anthropic as a supply chain risk, which is not something that the US government has historically done for American companies, which led to memos and much public fighting last week, finally culminating in President Trump blasting out on Truth Social that Anthropic was now persona non grata with the US government, and Hegseth following up that not only would they not be working with Anthropic, they would in fact be pursuing the supply chain risk designation and pushing other defense contractors to stop working with Anthropic as well. On the same day that this was all going down, OpenAI announced their own deal with the Department of War, and it has just been a mess. In the wake of OpenAI announcing their deal last Friday night, Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei published a 1,600-word memo that was not happy with basically anyone. The memo was later leaked to The Information, and Amodei got right to the point. He opened the memo by writing, "I want to be very clear on the messaging that is coming from OpenAI and the mendacious nature of it. This is an example of who they really are, and I want to make sure everyone sees it for what it is." Dario explained that while we didn't know exactly what was in the OpenAI contract, he had a few impressions about how their safeguards would work. He suggested that OpenAI would deploy a model without legal restrictions, but with a safety layer that amounts to model refusals on certain tasks. Amodei continued, "Our general sense is that these kinds of approaches, while they don't have zero efficacy, are, in the context of military applications, maybe 20% real and 80% safety theater." He explained that applications like autonomous weaponry or domestic surveillance rely on context that the model can't be privy to, such as the presence of a human in the loop or the provenance of surveillance data. Amodei also alleged that the idea that Anthropic were offered the same terms as OpenAI and rejected them was false. He added that he also believed it was false that OpenAI's terms meaningfully prevent AI use in domestic mass surveillance or autonomous weaponry. Circling back to earlier statements, Dario reiterated the core concern that the DOW has legal surveillance powers which are, quote, "not of great concern in the pre-AI world, but take on a different meaning in a post-AI world." Amodei wrote that Anthropic's negotiations on Friday had ultimately come down to a single clause in the contract. According to his retelling of events, the Pentagon had agreed to everything Anthropic had asked for, but required them to delete the specific phrase about analysis of bulk acquired data. He said this exactly matched the scenario we were most worried about. We found that very suspicious. On autonomous weapons, Amodei said the Pentagon had argued that a human in the loop is required under the law, but Dario noted that this is only Pentagon policy, which was added during the Biden administration and could be changed at will by Secretary Hegseth, adding, "So it is not, for all intents and purposes, a real constraint." Still, a lot of the details of the negotiations were kind of secondary to the main point he was trying to make. Specifically, he said that a lot of the messaging from OpenAI and DOW are, quote, "just straight up lies about these issues or tries to confuse them." In pretty much no uncertain terms, he accused Sam Altman of acting in bad faith, suggesting that all of his appearances to support Anthropic in public were just about him acting in a way that, quote, "doesn't make it seem like he gave up on the red lines and sold out when we wouldn't." In the spiciest and perhaps most politically fraught part of the memo, Dario argued that the disagreement didn't actually have to do with the contract. He wrote, "The real reasons DOW and the Trump admin do not like us is that we haven't donated to Trump, while OpenAI and Greg Brockman have donated a lot. We haven't given dictator-style praise to Trump while Sam has. We have supported AI regulation, which is against their agenda. We've told the truth about a number of AI policy issues like job displacement. And we've actually held our red lines with integrity rather than colluding with them to produce safety theater for the benefit of employees. Which I absolutely swear to you is what literally everyone at the DOW, Palantir, our political consultants, etc., assumed was the problem we were trying to solve. Sam is now, with the help of the DOW," Dario continues, "trying to spin this as if we were unreasonable. We didn't engage in a good way, we were less flexible, etc. I want people to recognize this as the gaslighting it is." Coming to a conclusion, Dario writes, "Thus, Sam is trying to undermine our position while appearing to support it. I want people to be really clear on this. He's trying to make it more possible for the admin to punish us by undercutting our public support. Finally, I suspect he is even egging them on, though I have no direct evidence for this last thing. Dario argued that the narrative was mostly failing with the general public, but had been successful with some, in his words, Twitter morons. My main worry, he concludes, is how to make sure it doesn't work on OpenAI employees. Due to selection effects, they're sort of a gullible bunch, but it seems important to push back on these narratives which Sam is peddling to his employees. So boy howdy, a lot to unpack in this. I think it's important to keep in mind that this was Friday night, right as this was all going down. And I think that there are a couple possible interpretations. One is that this was some type of strategic, either a strategic recruitment play, in other words, to get disaffected OpenAI staffers to come over and join Anthropic, or an attempt to lean into anti-administration sentiment, basically an act of App Store politics. Anthropic at the time of Dario's writing had not yet hit number 1 in the App Store charts, but already it had rocketed up to number 2. The other possible interpretation, though, of course, is effectively that this was just a crash out, that it wasn't super considered, and that any of these strategic outcomes were just secondary to the fact that it was a CEO venting in a sort of private forum that then would become public. This seems to be what Zvi Mausowicz thinks, writing, Dario was obviously on mega tilt here, same as everyone else on Friday, and the inflammatory stuff, especially about the White House, is deeply effing stupid to say. White House was trying to de-escalate and Dario needs to eat some crow ASAP. Now, Zvi here is genuinely sympathetic to Anthropic and AI safety in general, and so I think it's notable that that interpretation is coming from him. Unsurprisingly, it does seem that the administration was not happy about this. Axios business editor Dan Primack wrote, Amodei's blog post is said to have infuriated Defense Department officials who believe he was trying to virtue signal to A, Anthropic employees upset about the Venezuela revelations, and B, AI engineers at rival companies who might share similar concerns. Now, I'm pretty sure Dan was talking about a previous memo, not this most recent one, but implying that the same logic from the previous memo applies to the Friday night writing as well. It is worth noting as we interpret things that Dario has never been a big fan of Trump. A news article from last September reported that in a Facebook post urging friends to vote for Kamala Harris, Amodei had likened Trump to a feudal warlord. He also cut ties to a number of law firms who had made deals with the president. While pretty much everyone agreed that this was not going to work out all that well for Anthropic vis-a-vis the White House, even if they generally supported Dario's position, there was more mixed feelings around his accusations with regard to Sam and OpenAI. Dean Ball wrote, I do not share the cynicism of some with respect to OpenAI's actions in the DOW Anthropic dispute. It basically seems to me as though OpenAI was attempting to de-escalate last week. Whether they executed well is a separate question, but in their defense, good execution in such chaos was nearly impossible. It seems OpenAI tried to reduce tensions and find a productive path forward, while allowing its employees considerable latitude to speak their minds. The easy thing would have been for management to stay quiet and let this happen. They did not do that, and they also stood firm in opposition to the supply chain risk designation. In general, OpenAI is unjustly maligned. This is the thing that bothers me the most about Dario's leaked memo. It spends so much time on OpenAI conspiracies and cynicism that I fear industry solidarity in the future will be harder than it needs to be. This is not the last time we will see state interference into frontier AI, and until we build formalized structures for such interference, it will be important for the industry to hang tough together. I fear that will be less likely now. Interestingly, Sam Altman seems to agree with Dean that the particulars of how they handled the Pentagon contract weren't handled as well as they might have been. During his first all-hands dealing with the issue, Altman said that he didn't regret signing the deal but wished he didn't rush to announce it last Friday night. Echoing previous comments, he said the announcement made OpenAI look opportunistic and not united with the field. Sources said the tones of the all-hands meeting was respectful, with employees trying to drill down on the details in the contract. Altman apparently empathized with the mood in the room, saying, to try so hard to do the right thing and get so absolutely personally crushed for it, and I know this is happening to all of you too, so I feel terrible for subjecting you to this, is really painful. A source speaking with the New York Post said that the reaction within the company was largely positive, save for a small group. They said, from the internal messages, people are pragmatic and agree that Friday night was perhaps a little rushed and not the best communication. But now that there is more information, it feels like everybody's generally positive, save for like these 30 people who are always the ones raising questions. And while no one has publicly quit over the contract, reinforcement learning lead Max Schwartzer announced on Monday that he had decided to leave OpenAI to join Anthropic, which basically everyone assumed was a direct response to this. That said, not only did Schwartzer not throw OpenAI under the bus, he tried to give at least a plausible reason for his move that wasn't this, saying that he wanted to return to doing individual work as a researcher rather than continuing in a management position. On Wednesday evening, the Financial Times reported that Anthropic had restarted negotiations with the Pentagon around the contract. Amodei was reportedly back in discussions with Department of War Undersecretary for Research and Engineering and former Uber executive Emil Michael. You might remember him as the person who referred to Amodei as a liar with a god complex just about a week ago. The reporting framed the talks as a last-ditch effort to strike a deal and avoid being labeled a supply chain risk, and while they said that the memo was likely to complicate negotiations, they did not include any sourcing about the administration's current outlook on it. Axios, however, did receive comment from the administration which threw cold water on the prospect of a reconciliation. An administration official said, "Ultimately, this is about our warfighters having the best tools to win a fight, and you can't trust Claude isn't secretly carrying out Dario's agenda in a classified setting." What's more, even before a formal supply chain risk designation, military contractors are already ripping out Anthropic's tech. CNBC reports that a number of defense contractors are telling employees to stop using Claude and switch to other models. The reporting directly references the threat to label Anthropic a supply chain risk as the cause. While opinions have been pretty unified that the designation goes way too far, including even from central figures at OpenAI, for example, on Monday, former NSA and Cyber Command Director and now OpenAI board member Pal Nakasone said, "This is not a good space for our nation. We need Anthropic. We need OpenAI. We need all of our large language model companies to be partnering with our government. The moves of the defense contractors show why these types of threats are so pernicious. No one who has mission-critical and business-essential contracts with the US government is going to take those risks." Alexander Hartstrick of J2 Ventures, which has a focus in the defense space, said that already 10 of his firm's portfolio companies have, quote, backed off of their use of Claude for defense use cases and are in active processes to replace the service with another one. Now, while this is undoubtedly the largest AI politics issue, and one that is thrusting it into the mainstream, it has political coattails that are dragging other things in as well. As elections get closer, the conversation around data centers, for example, is getting more heated as well. This week, the president finalized the big tech pledge on data center energy use. The pledge was signed on Wednesday at a White House roundtable with several tech executives in attendance. Attendees included Microsoft President Brad Smith and OpenAI COO Brad Lightcap. Anthropic, of course, was not represented, but they also haven't begun building their own data centers. 7 companies signed the pledge, namely Google, Meta, Microsoft, Oracle, OpenAI, Amazon, and xAI. So this covers all of the hyperscalers as well as each AI startup currently building significant AI infrastructure. Substantively, the tech companies have pledged to bring their own power supply, either through constructing new power plants or paying to cover the cost of expanded infrastructure. The pledge doesn't prescribe any particular solution, but the president said that each company should negotiate directly with utilities to ensure they're paying an appropriate rate. The agreement states that the tech companies will be on the hook for additional costs even if they pull out of data center projects. That was presented as a key term that could assuage fears of overbuilding into an AI burst, with consumers left holding the bag. In addition, the company signed up to contribute power back to local grids in times of need. These load management agreements have been in place in Texas for several years and have proven fairly successful at keeping the grid operational during winter storms. The pledge is structured as an agreement with the president, so it's unclear if it carries any legal weight, but the president pointed out that this pledge is in the best interest of the hyperscalers. Articulating quite simply the obvious political truth, Trump said, "They need some PR help because people think that if a data center goes in, their electricity prices are going to go up. Some centers were rejected by communities for that, and now I think it's going to be the opposite." AI czar David Sachs took to Twitter to laud the deal and critique opposing types of data center policies. Sachs wrote, "This is a much better approach to affordability than Bernie Sanders' total ban on new data centers, which would halt the construction boom currently driving wage growth and job growth for blue-collar workers. In fact, the ratepayer protection pledge will lower electricity prices when AI companies pay for grid upgrades and sell their excess power back to the grid. The right approach to data centers is not to stop progress altogether, but rather to protect residential ratepayers from price increases while making it easier to stand up new power generation." Speaking of Bernie Sanders, it's very clear that he thinks this is a winning political issue and one that he's very much not going to let go. He put out a video of him flying to Berkeley, speaking with some of the more prominent AI doomers like Eliezer Yudkowsky, and then releasing the video to his Twitter. Jeff Schellenberg of Compact Magazine isn't sure that this is the right strategy for AI criticism. Jeff writes, "The economic populist view of AI is, or should be, quite different from the Yudkowsky and doomer view. However, because the latter is more narratively compelling and urgent seeming, economic populists seem to be embracing it. This is unfortunate." Finally, showing just what absolutely weird bedfellows AI issues are going to bring together, Future of Life Institute and AI safetyist Max Tegmark announced the Pro-Human AI Declaration. The Verge reports that a secret meeting took place back in January to sign this document, and the group of people represented in the 90 attendees are, to say the very least, scattered across the political spectrum. The group who've signed this thing include everyone from MAGA influencer and former presidential advisor Steve Bannon to Ralph Nader. If you want to know more broadly what I think about the anti-AI movement and which parts of it we should be paying attention to and how we should be engaging, I have a whole episode of that last week. For now, in the purposes of this episode, the big thing that I want to track and where we'll conclude is that part of the fallout of the Anthropic and Pentagon fight is that something which has remained mostly on the sidelines so far as a political issue is now being absolutely thrust into the mainstream. Hopefully pretty soon we can get a reprieve from this, and in either case, I'll probably try to dial back the coverage unless something truly huge happens, but that is where things stand from where I'm sitting. And that is going to do it for the AI Daily Brief. Thanks as always for listening or watching, and until next time, peace